You want to do what? You want to hire abroad? You want to hire computer technicians in another country? Is that going to be good? Isn't it going to be somebody who doesn't really understand the culture of your clients and stuff like that? And is it going to be like a disaster? Will they not know how to fix computers? Will they not be a part of your company culture? We're going to cover that in this video and tell you how to make it a win. How's it going, Alex?
I'm good, and you?
And yeah, I'm doing good. And it's really, this is something that this is a battle I've been fighting for the last like 9 years in running Support Adventure. Basically, it's just so funny how people just assume that outsourcing abroad is bad and that it won't bring the results they need. And then, you hear that other MSPs are doing it. So you want to try it and you want to know what to watch out for. So yeah, Alex, as a contract manager at Support Adventure, you've got lots of tips.
Yeah.
And so do I. And we're going to give people tips about just how to make it a success. Because yeah, if you do it the default way, hire a recruiter in another country, get sent a bunch of resumes, look for the buzzwords of the technologies that you use, interview the person, give them the benefit of the doubt, give them credentials to all your systems and hope for the best. Well, might not work out for you.
Yeah.
There's certain things that you need to ensure. And the first thing I want to sort of talk about is, well, it can be a sensitive topic, but we're going to try to be real about it. Cultural compatibility.
Yeah.
This is why outsourcing got a stigma, because the early iterations had, these sort of call centers with people all from one country in an office together. And basically serving in a way that's sort of default to them, but might not resonate with the people that they're on the phone with on the other side of the planet. So in reimagining, this concept, when I moved abroad to Europe, to Eastern Europe, to Serbia in 2007, 8, 9, I was doing it all those years and imagining how I could actually make it work. Because I'm from Canada and basically I could sit next to people and train them on how to give the level of service that I felt clients in the UK and US expected. And that worked. So I learned a lot about cultural compatibility and how to convey it. But when interviewing techs abroad, what you really want to do is ask some questions. Can you clearly understand what they are trying to communicate? Are they actually speaking your language or a different dialect of English, for example? That uses different terms and different ways of explaining stuff, because it's not just about level of English, knowledge of vocabulary, accent, or anything like that. It's about, do they actually understand the way of doing business, the expectation of the interaction and the expectation of explanation. One of my clients that I was dealing with a while ago put it quite simply. They outsourced to a country in Asia, I won't name the one, and they said, well, the problem with this is if I ask you to get a beer from the fridge and you get me a beer, I'll say thank you. But if I go back later and find that you left the fridge door open and I say, why didn't you close the fridge door? And you say, you didn't tell me to close the fridge door after I got you a beer, that's not good enough. And so that little understanding of business and how it is, how does it work? And how much do you have to clearly communicate? How much of the implicit communication is understood? And how much do you feel like you're having a conversation with someone who knows
100%.
you, your culture, and your values? Yeah.
I mean, it's something important to consider because at the end of the day, these technicians are going to be speaking to your end users over the phone. And sometimes they're going to have to troubleshoot an issue. It's maybe a technical issue to a non-technical person. So how do they articulate that? How do they break down that issue? You need to make sure that they are able to communicate in the right style and the right type of way.
And one thing I can really say shows this really quickly is the SIR test. A lot of people, in psychology it's called power distance, but they believe that you have to call people sir when you're serving them and stuff like that. And we find in the IT industry it's very rare for people in MSPs to say, hello sir, how can I serve you today, or something like that. Like somebody in what they understand professional business English to be would default to. And so are they constantly calling you sir in an interview when all the rest of the people that work for you in your office are calling you by your first name? That should be a key, that there's some sort of gap in understanding between your culture and their culture, and they might not actually fit into your culture. And we've seen that international outsourcing relationships can be great, but they can be horrible if the team in-house doesn't feel a connection to the person and view them as their equal. So you really just set that up and understand that that cultural compatibility comes from the applicant and also comes from how you integrate them.
I mean, a big thing to consider is, would you actually hire them locally? If they were in your office, in your town, in your country, and they rocked up and wanted the job, would you actually onboard them locally? Would they fit right into the office culture if they were there in person?
Do you want to sit down and have a meal with this person?
Exactly.
Can you talk about life with them? What's the power dynamic that you're going for in your culture, in your MSP's culture? Is it a friendly thing where everybody's on the same team to help the clients as equals and as experts that empower the clients to achieve a result, or is it just people who are doing a low-level task of going through a checklist and stuff like that? Mostly MSPs want people who are experts and exude expertise, and so you make sure the people you're hiring abroad are those people.
And that's something we try to look for as much as possible when we vet and the contractors coming in, is would there be a cultural fit with our clients? It's quite a big part of our vetting process, is to make sure their communication skills are right up there with them, with anybody that would be applying for that position locally.
Yeah, so it really comes down to not the country you're hiring, but the type of person from that country that you're hiring. Have they traveled the world a little bit? Do they know, more than just their home language in English? Are they global citizens that understand your culture and the differences between people? Not everybody does, and you need to figure out whether they resonate on that level.
Exactly.
Number 2, how about time zones? Let's talk about time zones. It's the elephant in the room in a lot of these international remote work placements where, especially with the American shifts. So you've got most of the people in the world are in this Afro-Eurasia megacontinent with varying time zones. And basically that's at least 5 hours offset from US Eastern time.
Yeah.
So what can we warn about that? I mean, yes, it works in South Africa for people,
who are open to work in those shifts. But again, you have
if it's 3 p.m. to midnight or something, that can work for some people,
But you can't expect somebody to be a long-term success if they start in their shift at midnight and working until 8 a.m., 9 a.m. That's not sustainable for an extended period of time. Yes, maybe they can get it right for the first couple of months, but a year
it's not going to be optimal.
It's not optimal. Yeah. Eventually, they're going to want a work-life balance, and they're not achieving that in a shift like that. You're also not going to get the best work out of them because it kind of kills their friendship.
They're sitting in a dark room.
Yeah, they're sitting in a dark room. They're by themselves. They're sleeping throughout the day. They're not having a good social life. They're maybe not getting out, getting much sunlight in, and ideally, it's not optimal.
If you think it works, try it yourself.
Yeah.
For a couple of weeks, go to another time zone and see if you want to work past midnight. It gets really old really fast.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say starting the shift, rule of thumb for me is okay, if somebody really wants it, we'll let them finish their shift around 2 or 3 a.m.
Yes.
Because some people live and sleep like that, can sleep until noon, no problem. Myself, I'm an early riser. I do my best work after my first coffee in the morning at 7 a.m. But so it would never work with me to, even our management meetings when I'm here in Thailand tend to be until about 9 p.m. So even that's a little bit of a stretch. After that, I'm pretty done. Don't want to do anything except for relax and go to sleep. And, that's my chronotype, as they call it. But, it's probably never going to work if they're starting their shift at, past 8 p.m. and working a full shift, because the human biological clock is not really wired like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3, hiring abroad. See proof of their technical skills.
This is a big one. I mean, anybody can create a resume and put some key buzzwords on it. Say that they have a degree in BSc computing or whatever, but can they actually do the job? Are they able to actually resolve tickets in the way that you would like? What's their ticket notes like?
I've always said that the skill is actually to figure things out on the fly. It's not about what they've done, it's about how they do stuff.
Exactly.
How they get their hands dirty, how they there must be a place in these settings where I can reconfigure it like this. Let's take a look around until I see what I think I'm looking for and stuff like that. Let's do a quick Google search, They don't have to know everything, they know how to find out what they need to know. And that's the main thing. So the best way that we found to actually figure out if people have this or don't have it is give them a real test on a VM that we spin up. We have, like dozens of people doing this test every week in our training and testing program, and we're really figuring out like who actually has the proof in their pudding, if that makes sense. The proof is in the pudding, not, you can put a bunch of VMware, Microsoft Azure, 365 magical wizard in your resume, but it doesn't mean anything at the end of the day when you actually are put on a machine, asked to troubleshoot it, and fail.
It's just buzzwords at the end of the day. They carry no weight or meaning to them.
Yeah. So it's about what they can do, placed in a situation, test them on that. Same with customer service. We have a situational awareness test, like that basically asks them what they do in various situations that are difficult to manage client expectations. Do they have that sense of business? Yeah, and that brings us to number 4.
Exactly.
Written communication.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big one. Is what sort of tone do they take with your end users? How would they word an email? What would the structure be? What's their written communication skills like? Are they using correct punctuation and so on? These all make an impression on your end users of your company. So you need to make sure that that's up to scratch before they even come on board.
It's a basic thing. It's
Exactly.
really a basic thing. And it ties into the whole like cultural compatibility and all this sort of thing. Are they communicating with your users in a way that is courteous, confident, and calibrated to the needs of the end users' efficiency, their workflows, and stuff like that? Are they giving Are they giving information that helps the user understand what the next steps are to solve their issue?
Is it vague?
Are they explaining why they can't solve their issue right now and what they're doing to ensure that they can solve it as soon as possible? All that sort of sense of written communication that when you read it, you feel like this person gets where I'm at with this problem. They get what I want to happen next. They're doing their best, using their brain to find me a resolution. It all needs to come through in those client-facing emails, and they shouldn't be too long or full of pleasantries and stuff like that. Just a respectful hello, and hope you have a great day at the end. That's enough pleasantry. The rest should actually be useful service delivery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the final point is ensuring that they have proper infrastructure. I mean, I'm South African. I come from a country with a very poor power grid, and we have multiple blackouts throughout the day.
So how do you deal with that?
You have to have a UPS or backup power supply.
And what if your home internet comes down during
you
the
need
day?
to have a strong mobile connection as well.
What if all that isn't working at your home? What then?
Well, then you need to find an alternative location to work from.
See, this is what we train our staff on at Support Adventure, because it's okay to be anywhere. As long as you're the right person for the job, you can be any place you want, as long as it has the right infrastructure with internet. And also, are they going to be in a place where the internet is somehow blocked, like China? We don't have anybody working in China because the Great Firewall of China would make that really difficult to even access Google. So we don't, it's a no-go for us. But internet, power, a decent PC, and a decent headset. These are the things that we need at a bare minimum, It's like, especially the headset thing. When you have them calling from another country to your clients, you want them to sound like they're 2 streets over. 100%. You want them to have a perfect microphone. Like I usually use these microphones that have like a boom mic like this. We're using these lapel mics right now, but when I'm on my calls, I use this. I can hear them, they can hear me. There's a mic right in front of my face. It plugs in via USB because that eliminates the need to go through the sound card, and it basically ensures consistent quality. So make sure they have that. If they don't have that, coach them how to get it. Because if they don't have stable power, stable internet, backup internet, a great machine, maybe even a backup machine to work on, and a decent audio device to join calls and call people up on your voice over IP system, it's not going to go well. No. And by asking them about this stuff, you can see what they're made of in terms of commitment. If they're thinking constantly, oh, well, if this happens, I'll have to do this. Oh, there's a co-working space, about 15 minutes away, and I would go there if my internet at home was unworkable or the mobile network went down or something like that. Yeah, bad stuff can still happen. They might be online, but that can happen anywhere. So it's not just about remote hires. So yeah. And yeah, this is some of the expertise we've amassed being Supported Venture, a global MSP staffing company. So we have a whole department dedicating to finding people, testing them, and then once people finish that program, they're passed over to contract managers like Alex, and then you present it to the clients.
Yeah. And we only present candidates that we feel would be a fit with our clients. So they have to meet all our criteria. That basically the list that we went through now, they have to either match or be better than the talking points there. And then we present them onto you, and you make the final decision. So you get to see the candidates' videos, their personality, their presentability, and you also get to see their VM tests that they completed on our side before you even interview them. So that way, this resume goes out the window. You don't have to rely on those buzzwords. You can see what their real-world ticket-solving skills are, and then you can interview them and see if they're the right fit for the job.
Yeah. Overall, I'd say keep an open mind when hiring abroad. You know, anybody from anywhere could be your star MSP tech, but you have to know what you're looking for.
Exactly.
And know what you're not looking for.
And if you don't know what you're looking for, contact us as well. We can assist in that.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot. Subscribe to our channel, Supported Venture. If you like this type of content, there will be lots more, and we'll catch you later.
Cool. Cheers, guys.